What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 196. And we'll start today's episode off with some player training for diving into transfer deadline day, as our first window back with the Blades is about to end, and I didn't really have any plans to do anything on transfer deadline day. However, I was pleased to see this. Right before deadline day began, we got a bid here for Ross McCrory from Villarreal, and that alerted me to something that was going on behind the scenes. Reece James had just had his release clause met by RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga, and whilst Jayden Bogle has come in, we've got no plans to sell Reece James. I talked about it in the last episode. I plan to change his position and use him as a holding midfielder. As you can see, his dirt cheap release clause, just £38.5 million, had been activated, and therefore I wasn't going to make the same mistake like we made with Kai Havertz last season. I sat him down, I agreed a contract extension, and got rid of that release clause, and Reece James will be staying. So I'm kind of glad that Villarreal put that bid in there for Ross McCrory, because I'm not sure whether I would have been notified of that had I not had a transfer offer for another player. I'd imagine I probably would have done, but as it came on deadline day and there's no advance, there's no next day, I'm not actually sure. So I might have got a bit lucky there, I don't know. But regardless, James is staying, as is McCrory. We're not going to sell him to Villarreal either, as the Scot, who we signed back in Season 2, is staying with us. But there was a bid for Manuel Locatelli, our Italian holding midfielder, now 30 years old and 84 rated. Frank Lampard, who's done a lot of business with me throughout the course of this series, put in a bid. I asked for the valuation, which is £23 million, and we decided to accept it as well, as I rejected this loan bid here for Nathan Wood, as I'm going to try and sell him next season, as he's just not developed in the time we've been away from Bramwell Lane. But Jakob Locatelli is off to Stamford Bridge for his valuation of £23 million. He only had 1.5 years left on his deal anyway. He wasn't going to get a new contract now in his 30s, of course, so I'm happy to get the cash for him and shift him on and look for a replacement. And the guy I'm going to sign to replace him is a former Sheffield United player. Now, with £20 million in our budget right now, there were a couple of other players we could have got. Jamal Lewis and Ben Godfrey, for example, I wouldn't have minded bringing back here to Bramwell Lane. However, I really wanted to see Eze return here to Yorkshire, because when we signed Abrechi Eze back in Season 3, I think it was, the man just hit the ground running and went on to an absolute tear as well. And what I want here with Sheffield United are some of the older players that are coming back who, when they were here, were in their early 20s, and they'll be our senior dressing room leaders between now and the time we finish this series as well. And I want Eze, who was such a big part of our core back in the first 4 seasons, to be that dressing room leader now as an older player. So we signed him for a very cheap deal as well. I think it was just £13 million to bring him back to Bramwell Lane, £13.5 million. And 81 overall, 29 years old, and a decent midfielder as well. And again, it's mainly just to have him for squad depth, really. He'll barely play for us in the time we're here at Bramwell Lane, but again, I just like to have him here, just a fifth choice option, if you will, for cup games and whatnot, and as a dressing room leader to provide some younger experience for our younger cams that we've got here, such as Kieran Brady and Tyler Griffiths as well. I really like that signing there as a nice model pro for the younger players to learn from. But also, you might notice as well, we did have around £10 million remaining in our budget after the signing of Eze. But whilst we could have possibly raised a bit more cash by selling a couple of other players, we had bids here, like I said, for McCrory, for Reece James, for Thomas Matthias as well. I didn't really want to make major moves on transfer deadline day, because we've actually started off really well since we returned to Bramwell Lane. We're into the EFL Cup final. We're just outside the top 4 right now in the Premier League with 13 games to go. I like how things have gone for us since we've returned to Sheffield United, so I didn't really feel the need to make radical changes on transfer deadline day. We've made 4 signings, and I was totally fine with that. I wanted to keep a bit of cash in the budget as well, because when new season comes in, if you will, I want to be able to spend a lot of money in Season 2 with Sheffield United, our second season back here at Bramwell, and I think that is when we'll spend an awful lot of money. So I wanted to keep a bit of money in the budget so that can carry over to next season as well. So in the end, £140.5 million spent on our 4 new signings. Ivan Toney is back, Jayden Bogle is back, Abrechi Eze is back, and Nicholas Wilson is back as well. And I'm really happy with the 4 players you got as well. I mean, as we know, Toney's hit the ground running, as we expected, banging him in left, right and centre. Even though he's 31 years old now, he'll be doing that until he retires. Nicholas Wilson's had a really good start as well. Jayden Bogle had a solid debut, won man of the match against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final as well. And as for Eze, he won't play much, I'm sure, in this team, but as a dressing dressing room leader. I'm looking forward to his experience being valuable to the younger players in this team. So deadline day over, £10 million left over, and yeah, I'm pretty pleased what we did in the transfer window as well. I'm happy we got rid of a few players that we didn't really have any plans for. You see the players that left the club here, they're in their 30s. Luke Shaw getting sold to Villarreal. I was really happy with that sale there. Locatelli going to Chelsea, Wallace going to Leganes as well. We also swapped out Edouard, who had just signed from the club via the AI manager, and Reggie Cannon, who went to Liverpool as part of the Jadon Bogle deal. He's 29 years old as well, so I quite like what we've done. Yes, we brought in two sort of more senior players into Tony and Eze. Bogle's in his prime right now at 27 years old, and of course Nicholas Wilson, just 22, is yet to hit his prime, and he's already 87 rated. So yeah, I'm really happy with the business we did in January. As we know, with this Sheffield United team, we're back here and we're here to stay. We don't need to do it all in one transfer window. We just want to lay out our intentions. That's exactly what we've done. Tony's hit the ground running. Bogle's hit the ground running. Wilson's hit the ground running. I'm glad Eze is back here as well. So as we head into February, some massive games to come in this month, as you've seen. We've got both legs against KRC Genk in the Europa League round of 32. Fancy our chances in that game, that tie there. We've got some big league games to come as well. And of course, the EFL Cup final. Our first EFL Cup final to save against Manchester United at the end of the month as well. And as you can see in the league table, 13 games to go. We are level with Watford on points right now and only separated by a goal difference. And Chelsea in 6th place are just 1 point behind the pair of us. It is so tight in the race for that 4th and final Champions League spot. Look, the top 3 are safe as far as I'm concerned. They're going to have a 3-horse race for the title. No one's catching those 3. But that 4th and final Champions League spot, there's like 4 teams that are going for it. It's really tight, and it's anyone's guess as to who's going to get it. And also a brief look at the FA Cup 5th round, which has just been drawn as well. We've got Crystal Palace away, so perhaps Eze might make his debut for us away at Selhurst Park in the 5th round of the Cup. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, as we'll have that tie there in the round of 16 away in London. And also we had a bit of a Reece James as well. Juve put a £45.8 million offer in for him, and I was like, lads, we gave him a contract extension. He's going nowhere. He can't meet the release clause. We've tied him down. He's going absolutely nowhere. But regardless, just want to show you this as well. How cool this Serge Koulibaly look in that Real Madrid shirt. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to have him back here at Bramwell Lane, but doesn't he just suit the Real Madrid shirt? Zlatan's regen, who we had for a brief period of time as well, he's also gone to Atletico Madrid. I would love to see that El Clasico. Zlatan's regen against Serge Koulibaly. What a battle that would be. Former teammates now battling one another in the Madrid derby. But doesn't Koulibaly just look so cool in that Real Madrid shirt? He looks superb. But anyway, yeah, first game and only game of today's episode here was going to be against Bristol City, who would come and take us on here at Bramwell Lane. And this was going to be a really massive game for the Blaze. Just 13 games to go. And you saw it in the last episode after our slip-up away at Griffin Park against Brentford, right now in the relegation zone. We missed a chance to leapfrog the Hornets and go into the top 4. Couldn't afford to do the same thing here. And taking on Bristol City right now, you would have seen the league table earlier. Right now, they are rock bottom of the Premier League. Only 9 points picked up all season long. It looks for sure that they are getting relegated. But as we know, throughout the course of this save, sometimes these are the games, and oftentimes these are the games which are the most difficult. So taking them on here at Bramwell Lane, looking for revenge after 2 straight games where we drew and were unable to get the victory. First against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg, and of course that draw away against Brentford as well. Looking to make amends in this game and get a big victory, and we started off on the front foot as you'd expect. A couple of early chances here. First Tony's shot well saved, and then Roche's header going over the bar and behind for a goal kick. But in the first half an hour, it was all Sheffield United. Against Brentford, I couldn't create any real chances apart from the goal that Harris scored. No such problems in this game. We had loads of opportunities in the first half. My finishing just wasn't there. Great chance for Tony to make it 1-0 there, but a very tame effort was pretty easily saved by the goalkeepers. It was still 0-0. But as you want it back for a brave header by Nicholas Wilson, Pierre finds Tony, and for this moment here, I wasn't going to make the same mistake. Ivan Toney hasn't scored in his last couple of league games, but this time presented with the opportunity, he wasn't going to place it like he tried to do a moment ago. He just levered it, smashed it into the top corner. No chance of goalkeeper. Look at the first touch here. Lovely drag back and the finish to match as well. Into the top corner. Past the keeper in a flash. Ivan Toney, even at 31 years old, I don't think he'll be able to do this forever until he retires. As much as I'd like to see it. That's why we need Elliot Harris to keep banging him in as well, but he'll keep going for as long as he can. And I've never had a striker like Ivan Toney, man. Every single time he shoots the ball, I expect it to go in. So 1-0 courtesy of the shocker. The deadlock finally broken. And the second half, 20 minutes after the restart, Gurbel's off the bench, finds the shocker. And for this goal, it wasn't a smack from range. It was a lovely piece of skill and composure. And he says to the fans, I've still got it, baby. I've not lost it in the 4 years I've been playing European football outside of the Premier League. Gurbel sends him down the right. There's one covering defender coming across. And Ivan Toney, this was smooth. First time fake shot. See you later, mate. And then drills into the top corner for his second goal of the game. 6th goal already in the Premier League since returning. 7th in total. And Sheffield United back to winning ways with a 2-0 victory here against Bristol City, courtesy of a man of the match display from Ivan Toney. Harris might be his protege, but Toney is not ready to hang up those boots just yet. But that was today's episode of Career Mode, guys. So big thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career very soon, featuring a huge game away at St Mary's in the Premier League with 12 games to go and both legs of our Europa League round of 32 clash. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.